Good evening, everybody. Welcome to GH Gospel Radio and welcome to your show, Let's Talk Marriage. Today we're a little bit late, but forgive us. We are here and we know by the grace of God, we're going to have a great time. Tonight we're talking about trust. We're talking about trust in all its entirety. And you see, trust looks like a whole big topic all on its own. So I'm sure we're not going to talk about everything about trust, but we're just going to explore some aspects of trust that relates to marriage. We all know that trust is one of the main components of marriage. Without trust, marriage is almost impossible. You cannot vow to somebody to be with them forever, to have and to hold, and not be able to trust them. If you cannot trust them, you cannot even fulfill your marriage vows. You cannot make decisions if you cannot trust the other person. You cannot be able to merge your life together with another person if you cannot trust them. But you see, the Bible says that cursed is the man who puts his trust, cursed is the person who puts his trust in man. So how are we going to navigate this trust? And we all know that trust is earned, it's not given. You can't just get up one day and say that I trust this person for no reason. You must be able to have a reason. You must be able to see something in the person that will make you trust him. And to be honest, it takes time to build trust. You can't just trust somebody from the get-go. And you don't trust people completely. You trust them in God. You trust that by the grace of God, they will be true to their word. So tonight, let's all come on, let's all share our ideas, let's all bring our opinions as to navigating trust in our marriages. Give me a second to share the link. I'll be right back with you, and then we can continue. So trust. How do we navigate trust? Can we trust somebody? Are we supposed to trust our partners completely? Or what are we supposed to do? There's a saying that goes that if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Hello, Sister Elsie. I was looking for you. Thank God you are here. Yay, Mr. Biney. The team is in the house. So let's forge ahead. Yeah, so as I was saying, there's a saying that goes that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So if you don't realize that there's a trust issue in your marriage, then there's nothing to fix. We are all praying that by the grace of God, we are able to trust our partners enough to have the healthiest of relationship. We all require a level of trust in our partners to be able to have a healthy marriage. There needs to be enough trust. We cannot trust another human completely. The only one we can trust completely is God. But at least we need some level of trust, a healthy amount of trust to be able to have a healthy marriage. And if you are not at a level that is ideal or which is healthy enough, the good news is trust can be built. And trust is based on some things. So if you realize that the trust in your marriage is not enough, it's not healthy enough, you can always work on it and build it up. So let's take a short test to find out, is the trust that we have healthy enough, or do we need to do some work? What are some of the questions you need to ask yourself to find out if there's enough trust or the trust in your marriage is healthy enough? So let's go through the list. First of all, are you able to check each other's phones? I'm not saying make it a habit of checking each other's phones, but if you wanted to, would you be able to just take your partner's phone and check it? It's not about in fact, do you even want to check your partner's phone? And if you want to, are you able to just pick their phone and check it. Do you have their password? Do you have their unspoken permission? Or you would have to go to them, ask them for the permission to check their phone, ask them for their passwords. And as you are there, as a married person, do you desire to pick your husband's phone or to pick your wife's phone and check the conversations they are having with other people? If you really want to check your partner's phone, the trust is not healthy. And if you need to ask permission to check their phone, you don't have their trust. And if you have to go and ask for password before you enter your partner's phone, then indirectly you don't really have their permission, because by the time you're asking somebody for their password, if there's something they don't want you to see, they can easily go and clean it up, delete it, hide it, whatever, before they give their phone to you. So, one thing to check if you have enough trust in your marriage is to use the phone approach. Do you want to check your partner's phone, check their messages? Do you have access to their phone? And if you wanted to check their phone, would they let you? Or do you have their unspoken permission to check their phone anytime? If you don't, you need to be able to start asking yourself, where did we go wrong? Where did the trust go? And start working on it. Another question to ask yourself is that do you know how much your partner earns? Do you know how much money they make? Do you have access to their account? If you wanted to check their account, do you have access to their account? And this is a very thorny area because most people believe that I should have my privacy. And women like spending money, so the woman shouldn't know how much I spend. And some people also believe that I don't like it when people interfere with my money affairs. We'll just sit down and agree on how much to spend, and then we'll both contribute as we deem necessary. I know this is a tricky one because a lot of times other things affect letting your partner know how much you earn. But the ideal, the place of trust is that even if you are not sharing accounts, at least you should know how much your partner earns. It should give you an idea of what is going on. Because how can you plan well with your partner when you don't even know how much they earn? Not being able to disclose how much you earn or wanting your partner to know how much you earn, it's a big deal. It points to the fact that there may be trust issues between the two of you. So let's go exploring. How are you doing so far? Is this trust solid or you need to work on it? All right. A third thing to do you have both your names on all your property? Is it Mr. and Mrs. on all your documents? Or you have your property in your name and your partner also have their property in their name? You see, the way marriage is, not everything can be quantified. So if one of you has money and the other person is bringing all the services and all the errands and all the non-money earning contributions, it is highly unfair that one person decides, I earn that money, so the property is mine. They'll forget that whilst you were going to work, the other partner was watching the kids. The other partner was doing all the non-money earning things. And sometimes, a lot of times, women are found at the bottom of the ladder. It's like whilst the man is working, the woman may be taking care of the kids, cooking, cleaning. Nobody's paying you for cooking. Nobody's paying you for cleaning. Nobody's paying you for taking care of the kids. And then one day the husband decides, I earned all the money, so all the property is mine. So his name is on all the property. So they decide, hey, you didn't earn anything. You just spent your time to cook for the family and clean for the family and take care of the family. So you didn't earn any money. So my name has to be on everything. So that is where it becomes an issue. Is your name on the, are both your names on your property? And this scenario can be vice versa. It could be the woman doing that, bringing in all the money, the man taking care of all the other stuff, and then the woman decides, hey, I brought the money, so all the property should be in my name. And sometimes you are not even aware, your partner is not aware that you did not put their name on your documents. You've not named them as your next of kin. And for people who buy property secretly, you're not even aware there's any new property for you to even ask if your name is on it. They already did what they are going to do. And that is a betrayal of trust. So ask yourself, do you have both your names on all your property? Both on the husband side and on the wife side? Do you have both your names, or everybody is developing their own property by themselves? There's one scenario that both of you sit down to agree how to navigate this, so you are both aware of what you're doing. I'm talking about the part where you're not aware of what is going on, and one person decides, I'm putting my name on everything. That should tell you the trust is not ideal in the marriage. You need to fix it somehow. Okay. Another question to ask yourself: are you able to tell each other your deepest secrets when something bothers you? When something is giving you sleepless nights, are you able to confide in your partner? Are you able to trust your partner enough to tell your partner when something is wrong, when you need their support, when you need their help? Can you name your partner as your confidant, or you are sneaking around hiding things from your partner? Is it that you cannot trust your partner with your secrets? Is it that when you are in trouble, the first person you go to is not your partner? If that's the case, give yourself a tick that the trust in your marriage is not ideal. You need to work on it. Let's ask let's ask another question. Um when you think about your partner, what do you think? Do you think this is my friend, this is my person, this is my support? Or the thoughts that come to your mind that this is my enemy, I need to be careful of this person, I need to watch out for this person, I need to keep my eyes open around this person? Just take a minute and think about your spouse. What kind of thoughts are coming to you? Is it thoughts of, this is my friend, this is my support, this is my team member? Or your thoughts are all over the place? I can't trust this person. I need to open my eyes. I need to be careful. This person is out to get me. What are your thoughts concerning your spouse? If they are great thoughts, we thank God. But if they are not, that should give you an indication that something needs to be worked on, something needs to be fixed. So it's time to go to work. Let's look at our last question. You can ask yourself, is my spouse willing and committed to the marriage and my well being? Because if you can trust somebody, you have to be able to know whether they are in it with you together or you are in the marriage by yourself. Is your partner, can you see your partner being willing and committed to your well-being and the well-being of the marriage? Do you see your partner putting in as much effort as you're putting in, or your partner seems not to care? Do you see your partner as somebody who is willing and committed that no matter what happens, they are by your side and they will walk with you? Have you thought about it? If something were to happen to you, God forbid, but if something bad happened to you, will they stick around? Will they help you? Will they support you? And should you be going through challenges, or maybe you're already going through challenges, Is your partner committed to working with you? Is your partner willing to work with you on the marriage so that both of you can come out successful? If your answer to that question is yes, we give glory to God. But if it is no, then it means the trust in the marriage is not where it needs to be. Because if you cannot trust that your partner will be there for you should something happen, or you cannot trust that your partner will work with you in the marriage should you have challenges, then the trust you have is not healthy enough. So we've asked ourselves a few questions, and I know by now you know where you stand as to whether your trust is at a healthy level right now, or at this point in time, you need to be able to work on the trust in your marriage. One thing that you do not need to do when you're trying to fix trust or you're trying to build more trust in your marriage is excuses. People who don't want to fix issues, the first thing they come up with is excuses. Let's talk about the phone issue. Somebody will give you 1,000 excuses why their partner should never have access to their phones. It is not about the excuse, it's not about the phone itself. And no excuse is good enough to not be able to have your partner go through your phone. The more excuses you have, the more you should tell yourself that these are the reasons or these are the things that I need to fix to be able to get to where the trust needs to be. If you find yourself giving excuses for everything, I do this because of that, I do that because of this, and I can't do this because of that. As you give yourself excuses, you're only trying to tell yourself you want things to remain the same, you don't want the trust to grow, and that you've sort of sealed the fate of the marriage. You're not ready to make things work well. And when things are not working well, it's only a matter of time that things begin to break down and then you begin to grow wider and wider apart. Like we said earlier, trust is not a gift that you can wake up one day and give to your partner that I trust you. No, deep down you trust your partner based on what they do and based on how they act and based on the consistency of their actions. So you cannot force yourself to trust them when they are not being consistent. You cannot force yourself to trust them when they keep doing things that shake your trust in them. So the only way forward is that you are trustworthy and your spouse is also trustworthy. And because human beings, we don't read minds, we're going to base our trust on your actions, your consistency. So, one great way to start building trust in your marriage is to stop giving excuses for things. Stop giving excuses when you need to fix something. When you keep giving excuses, you will not do anything about it. You will not move forward and you will not fix the trust, and you're not helping the marriage. Because when the trust is broken, that marriage is in crisis. That marriage is not moving forward. So let's look at a few ways in which we can build trust or rebuild trust. I'm sure you trusted your partner when you're getting married, and along the line, things happened and things might have changed. Or maybe you're not a trusting person to start with. In the beginning of your marriage, you did not sign up to trust your partner. But now you realize that without trust, the marriage cannot be healthy enough, and the two of you cannot progress together in a healthy way. You might be progressing individually, but marriage is not about how individual you can be, it's about how both of you can grow together. Both of you can be healthy, and the marriage can be healthy as well. So, let's look at some of the ways in which you can build trust. The first thing to look at is to be transparent. Be transparent. A lot of times people sift what they should tell their partner and what they should not tell their partner. Some of these things may be cultural. Maybe growing up, you've been told you should never tell your partner how much you earn. You should never tell your partner how you feel. You should never open up to your partner and talk about your feelings. Maybe culturally, that's how you grew up. But now we know that to have a healthy marriage, you have to be transparent. Being transparent means that you share with your partner without holding back. And here is a place where a lot of people can start giving excuses. They'll be like, my partner doesn't listen, I'm not the talking type. I don't like to talk a lot. I like to bottle up. Is either you let the excuses go and you work on what needs to be worked, or the trust would stay at an unhealthy level. If you are the most quiet person in the world, home or your spouse is not the place to be quiet at. We all know that for people who are outgoing and like to talk a lot, when they come home, they like to be quiet and like to spend some time alone. In the same way, if you are the most quiet person out there at home, you can still talk. And no matter how you are, you're supposed to be flexible enough to be able to change such that your marriage would benefit, such that your marriage will be the better for it. If we all stick our necks in the sand and tell ourselves, this is who I am, I cannot change, we will not make much progress in our marriages because nobody can read minds. The only way your partner can know what is going on with you is for you to be transparent. Do not pick and choose what to share with your partner. The Bible says that the man and the woman, they were naked, but they had no shame. Nakedness is not only physical. Nakedness is also with your emotions, with information, with your thoughts. You have to be transparent. Don't pick and choose what to share with your partner. Share everything. You never know which information may be necessary because as you share, you don't know which one might come in handy the next moment. But as a husband or as a wife, you need to be transparent. Don't go hiding anything from your partner. So if you need to be that transparent, your phone should be a very small aspect of being transparent. It's like if you're supposed to be able to share whatever is in your head, whatever is in your heart with your spouse, then why can't your spouse see whatever is on your phone? Your spouse may not even want to see your phone, and your spouse may never ask to see your phone. But the very fact that you have made up your mind that my spouse cannot see my phone, my spouse cannot go through my phone, that is where the transparency issues are. Make up your mind that your life should be transparent enough such that you're able to tell your partner everything without holding back. And your partner is able to tell you everything without holding back. And not that you pick and choose what to share so that you're trying to create some image with your partner. You want your partner to think about you in a certain way, or there are certain things you are okay sharing with your partner, but there are other things you are not okay sharing with your partner. If you realize that you cannot be transparent, then you need to work on whatever needs to be worked on so that you can be transparent. Stop with the excuses and start working little by little so that you can be transparent. Share yourself, your truth with your partner. Let your partner know what is going on. Build trust by being transparent. No more hiding. No more hiding your feelings. No more hiding your aspirations. No more hiding your plans. No more hiding your projects. No more hiding your property. Share everything. Be transparent. Sister also says, how do you handle a partner who always uses an excuse for a way out? Thank you very much for that question. And if your partner is making excuses at every turn, it's obvious that there's a big problem. They don't want to commit. They are not being committed to the marriage. Because if everything you're asked, your response is an excuse, you're not doing great. You should be able to, if you even if you have an excuse, that should tell you the thing that you need to fix to be able to move forward. So you shouldn't come up with the excuse. Fix that thing so that you can move forward. But the thing is, you cannot change people. All you can do is sit with them and let them know that these excuses you're giving me, they are valid to you, but at the end of the day, we are not here for the excuses. We want a solution. So please, whatever excuses are there, can you try to fix it so that we can have the job done? Because excuses are there for a reason. They are the hurdles you would have to jump through to get to where you need to be. So if there are excuses, that should not be the end. Fix the excuses on your end. Don't let the excuses be my responsibility. Let it be your responsibility. Whatever is not making you being able to do whatever needs to be done now, you fix it on your end. If you need my help to fix it, let's work on it together. But you should be transparent enough so that we can work on it together. And whatever is your responsibility, you should be able to fix it so that you are able to do what you need to do. Excuses are unacceptable. So if your partner keeps coming up with excuses, let them know we cannot move forward with excuses. We need to be able to work on whatever we are working on. So help them to understand that you're not going to be able to work with excuses. They need to fix the excuses. Next time something comes up, they should deal with whatever excuses are stopping them from doing what they need to do so that they can come to the place where they actually do what is expected of them. Sit down with them, talk with them, help them understand that the excuses are not acceptable. And if they still refuse to do what they need to do, find somebody they respect that can talk to them. And if it still doesn't work out, pray for them, wait on God to work in their lives, and let them be. At the end of the day, one thing we have to realize is no one person can work on a marriage by themselves. Everybody can do what is in their part, what is their part to do. But if the other person refuses to cooperate, refuses to commit, it's on them. One person does not make a marriage. It's two people and God. So if one party refuses to cooperate, it's on them. All you can do is to do your part and let God handle the rest. I hope that some way, somehow, I've been able to answer your question. And I pray that whichever partner always keeps giving excuses, let this be your cue that the excuses you are giving is not going to help anybody. It won't help you. It won't help the marriage. It won't help your partner. If you have the excuses, fix the excuses such that you are able to do what you need to do. Let's give an example. Let's say you're going to work and it's raining. You're not supposed to say it's raining, so I can't go to work. Once you realize that rain is an excuse for you not to go to work, find an umbrella, get in your car, and go to work. Rain never stops people from coming to work. If it's an umbrella you need, find it. If it's another means of transportation you need, find it. At the end of the day, you have to get to work. And most of the time, when it matters to people, they will find a way to do what they need to do. So the fact that you're given an excuse means that you're not committed to getting the job done. And that is unfair and that is ungodly. So please, every time you're tempted to give excuses as to why you cannot do something, your job is to fix that excuse so that you can do what it is that you're supposed to do. Everything will never be perfect for you to do what you have to do. So it's part of your job to overcome obstacles in doing what you need to do. Let the excuses go. And when you realize that it's beyond you, all you can do is your part. Because on the judgment day, God will judge you by yourself. So if you did your part, you're free to go. If your partner did not do their part, they will have God to deal with. So fix excuses. Let the excuses go. But if you won't do it, we cannot force you. But don't forget, you are accountable to God. God knows your heart and God knows your abilities, and you cannot lie to God. You cannot give God excuses. So if you want to give excuses on this earth, that is your business. But remember that you cannot give God excuses. He sees it all. He doesn't need to ask for evidence. And whatever you're doing now, you're accountable for it. Don't forget. You can cheat man. You can cheat your spouse. You can cheat your partner. But you can never cheat God. Unless, of course, you believe when this life ends, that is it. But you and I know that's not the case. God is waiting. No, judgment day will come. So please be careful. So one way to build trust: be transparent. Tell your partner everything. Let your partner have access to your phone. If you're hiding things on your phone, stop. If you have reasons, you have excuses for hiding things, stop hiding. Be transparent such that your phone is the least of your worries. Your partner may never check your phone, but be able to say to yourself that I am transparent enough that anytime my partner needs to go through my phone, he can or she can. If you can't get to that point, then you're not doing great. So be transparent. You shared your naked bodies. You can share everything else. You're supposed to share everything else. Be transparent. If your partner needs to know how much you earn, it's not like if your partner needs to know. Your partner needs to know. So if there's anything stopping you, fix those so that you can be able to tell your partner how much you are making. Be transparent. Don't pick and choose what to share. Share everything. When you're naked, you are not wearing anything. In the same way, when you're sharing information with your spouse, share everything. Be transparent. That is how marriage is supposed to be. If there are excuses for why you cannot be transparent, fix them such that you can go back to being transparent. Amen. Okay, so the second thing to work on when you want to build trust, if the level of the trust in your marriage is low, you need to work on it, build more trust. The second thing you can do is to be consistent. Nobody will trust you if your words and your actions don't match. Your partner may decide to trust you, but they are trusting you blindly. Real trust, genuine trust is not blind. Trust is based on facts. Trust is based on actions. Be consistent. Let your words match your actions. If you say you're going to do something, go ahead and do it. If you say you will not do something, let the whole world know that you did not do it. Your wife or your husband cannot read your mind, and they cannot follow you around wherever you go. They should not want to set spies on you to make sure you do the things that you say you will do. So if they find out, or if you always comes, just a minute, Styles will answer your question. If it always comes that your words don't match your actions, that's a big deal. Can we please have Sister Elsie's question again? Says, what percentage of trust is healthy in a marriage? This is a huge question, and I don't think there is oh, Mr. Biney answered it. He said 100%. Absolutely. 100% trust is healthy in a marriage, because as human beings, it's not everything that you are even aware of. So for everything that you are aware of, at least you share that 100%. Be completely trustworthy and be able to, you should be able to trust your spouse 100%. Your spouse should be that one person that you can beat your chest and say that I trust this person with my life. Because technically, when you marry somebody, you are putting your life in their hands. How whatever affects you affects them. So whatever they do affects you. So you should be able to trust your spouse 100%. And some of the ways in which you can trust your spouse is if your spouse is being consistent, or if you yourself you're being consistent. Let your words match your actions. What you say you will do, do them. What you say you wouldn't do, don't do them. Because a lot of times when you are together with your spouse, you may be doing the right things for your spouse to see that everything is fine. But the minute your spouse leaves, the minute you're by yourself, you begin to do things that you know that if your spouse found out, there will be fire on the mountain. If your spouse could see all the things you do when they are not there, the marriage will not stand. That should tell you that you're living a double life. If your words don't match your actions, if your wife or your husband has to be sneaking up on you and checking, you see, when your spouse wants to check your phone, that should tell you that they have doubts. They think there's some shady things going on that they should know about. That alone should tell you that your actions have not been all the way healthy, or your actions have not been matching your words. So, especially when your spouse is not around, that is when you should be trustworthy the most. Of course, if your spouse is with you, they can see what you're doing. So, there may be no need for them to even wonder what you're doing. But when your spouse is not around, that is when you should be trustworthy. As you are by yourself, ask yourself, if my spouse knew what I was doing right now, would my marriage stand? Ask yourself, if these secrets came out, will my marriage still stand? Please be consistent. Let your words match your actions. Whenever something is uncovered, whenever a secret comes out, it should not be a secret that will break the marriage. It should be a secret that should reinforce that whatever you told your spouse, that is exactly what you were doing, so that there will not be scandal after scandal. There are some people, the only reason their marriage is healthy is that they are able to hide things. The day the things they have hidden comes out, that very day the marriage will end. And that is not being trustworthy. That is being that is living a double life. That is being inconsistent, because you've shown one face to your spouse and you are living a whole other life somewhere else. Why should you cheat your spouse that way? Please be consistent. The things you do when your spouse is there, do the same things when they are not there. The things you say that you will do, let them find you doing it. And the things that you say you will not do, don't be caught doing it just because your spouse is not there. Please be consistent. Let your words match your actions. There might be pleasure in cheating on your spouse. There might be pleasure in doing things that if your spouse found out, they would not be happy, or your marriage would not be standing. But at the end of the day, after you've cheated on your spouse, after you've done things that you said you wouldn't do to your spouse may not be able to do anything to you, but God is waiting. It is God who will deal with you. So don't forget about God. Don't act like you will get away with the things that you do to your spouse that you know they are not good. But if you are looking for a guide as to what you should not do, make up your mind that the things that you are doing, if your spouse were there, it wouldn't be a problem. Or the things, you shouldn't be hiding anything anyway. But ask yourself, if certain things were to come to light, if my spouse were to get to know certain things, would my marriage still stand? If you have anything you need to hide, that should tell you you've not been doing things right. It's time to fix them. But the bottom line is, be consistent. Let your words match your actions. The things that you say you'll do, go ahead and do them. The things that you said you wouldn't do, go ahead and don't do them. And not only when your spouse is around, whether they are around or not should not matter. So that you are not playing a game of covering your tracks. Please be consistent. That's another great way to build trust in your marriage. Let's look at a third way to build trust. A third way to build trust is to be fair. Be fair to your partner. Ask yourself, if my partner did this to me, would I be happy? The thing that you're doing that your partner doesn't even know about, be fair about it. If your partner did same to you, would you be happy? Would you think it's fair? If the answer is no, you should know that you're not being fair to your partner. Be fair. Once you are fair to your partner, when things come up, your partner would see that, oh, this is fair. It may not bring a problem. But if you cannot say that you're being fair to your spouse, then you know that whatever you are doing is not building the trust. The minute your partner finds out, there'll be a problem. So be fair to your partner. The things you're doing with their knowledge and without their knowledge, be fair so that when you are found out, it will not be a problem. It will only be fair for the both of you. If you are fair when your partner is around and fair when your partner is not around, you're on the right track. You're doing the right thing. Another way to build trust in your marriage is to be a good Christian. I always say that you should not wait for your spouse to tell you that, please do this and this and this and this and that for me. No. If you really mean business, you should be able to come up with your own reasons and your own list of things to do for your spouse to contribute to the marriage. If you're always waiting to be asked to do something, then your level of commitment is pretty low. You shouldn't wait to be asked to do stuff. You should be able to come up with your own ideas. You should always be eager to contribute to the marriage such that things would work better for the marriage. If your partner always has to ask you, or if your partner always has to tell you the things to do, you're not doing well. So be a good Christian in your marriage. The things that you know that God requires you to do for your spouse. Don't wait for your spouse to come and ask you for it. Volunteer it. Bring it to the marriage, because your spouse may probably be busy trying to figure out all the things that they need to do for the marriage. So they don't even have the time or the capacity to bring you a list, to tell you what they want from you. You should be able of your own accord to do things for the marriage and for your spouse to build that marriage. And if you remain accountable for your own actions, that is a great way to build a marriage. Some people will be like, you didn't tell me to do this. I didn't know that you wanted me to do this. Fine. You don't know what you don't know, but at least outside of knowing, what did you also plan to do for the marriage? What did you also plan to contribute to the welfare of the marriage? Your spouse does not need to come and tell you what to do. There are times that your spouse will tell you the specifics of the things they need from you, or once in a while, or not even once in a while, you should be able to talk often. As long as you're being transparent with each other, you would know what each other needs from you, right? But your actions should not only be based on what your partner tells you. You should also have a plan. You should also be able to do things of your own accord. Don't wait to be asked. Be a good Christian in your marriage. In these days, we are having issues with Christianity because sometimes those of us who call us Christians, our attitude and our actions make people not want to be Christians. Not that it's our responsibility to make people want to be Christians, because the example for all Christians is Jesus Christ. So anybody who wants to be a Christian, your example is Jesus Christ. And it's Jesus Christ that you need, not Kweku Mensah. and not EFUA. I do not need to be your example. Jesus Christ is your example. But it is very helpful if my actions encourage you to follow Christ. Because sometimes we are the only Bible that other people are reading. If they see people doing things that amaze them, their next reaction will be to ask you, hey, I see that you have these qualities that I admire. What is your secret? That opens the door for you to tell them about Jesus Christ. But if the very life that you are living, people will look at you, and then when you say you're a Christian, they'll be like, oh, if this is what Christianity is about, then I don't want any of it. Then there's a problem. Even though Jesus Christ is our example, we all need to be encouragers. Our lifestyle needs to encourage people to become Christians, because sometimes we are the only Bible they are reading. The devil may be sending them all kinds of reasons not to give their lives to Christ. But people look at the little things. It's not only when you are preaching Christ that people are listening, they are also watching what you are doing. And your marriage is a great place for you to be a good Christian. So please, whatever you are doing in your marriage, let it be something that will encourage somebody else to be a good Christian. Let it show that you're a good Christian. What you're doing in your marriage, when anybody is able to see it, let it be an encouragement to them that it's worth being a Christian, and that you being a Christian has influenced your marriage. It has influenced your life. Let people be encouraged by your conduct, especially in your marriage. So I hope tonight we've been able to pick a thing or two about trust. If you answered those questions, you know where the level of trust is in your marriage. And we all know that trust is not a gift. Trust has to be built. You can forcibly trust your partner, but at the end of the day, if they are not trustworthy, you are fooling yourself. So we've also given the tips on how to build more trust in your marriage if the trust is not at a healthy level. And we did say that the healthy level of trust in a marriage is 100%. You should be able to trust your partner 100%. And one key way to make sure of that is ask yourself, whatever I'm doing that my partner doesn't know about, if it were to come out today, will it help my marriage or break my marriage? Don't be the kind of person whose marriage is only surviving because the things that you've been doing have not come out yet. Because we should all know that no matter what, whatever you're doing, it's only a matter of time. It will come out. And even if it doesn't come out, you may be able to deceive man, but you can never deceive God. And no matter what, that last day will come. That judgment will come. So please be mindful. So until we meet again, God willing, next week, y'all have a blessed week. And as we always say here, it takes a good Christian to have a good Christian marriage. May God bless your marriage. Bye-bye.